Hey, welcome back to the eBay shop. My name's Corey.
I'm Teresa.
And we are Grams and Pops Vintage. And today we're going to talk to you about another problem, right?
We seem to have a lot of problems lately. We make
have
mistakes.
we
We
have
have
a
a huge
problems.
death pile. And now we have an
just-
inventory problem.
We're just not that good at this. In the previous video, we actually talked about another problem we were having with our death pile. And in that discussion, we discovered we also have a problem with our inventory. We actually have over 3,000 items listed right now. Even though we had a great sales weekend and there's like 50 items going out, that leaves a lot of items that we are storing. And the more we list, the more of a storage solution or storage issue
Problem.
problem
It's a problem.
we have. We're running out of space. Simple as that.
And we have a huge shop.
We are fortunate when it comes to space, way more fortunate than most. But I think if you've been doing this for any amount of time, no matter how much space you have, you are going to run into an inventory problem, a space problem.
I don't think so. If we had gotten rid of all of our death pile, we might have a little more room for some inventory.
Yeah, but then next summer when we need to build a death pile for winter again, we would have a problem.
Maybe.
So space problems are a problem for resellers. And we're going to talk about how we plan to solve that, or maybe solve it, try to solve it, give you our take on it. And we're also going to show you a little bit of our inventory system and how we're currently storing our inventory. That's what we're planning to do today. We're also going to talk about a few things that sold over the weekend like we usually do. So what's the first thing that went out today?
We sold a gnome. We sold a 1984 Tom Clark gnome Shorty number 10, and it is signed.
Yep. You got a gnome in a strawberry patch there. And if you weren't aware, gnomes seem to be kind of hot right now. I don't know why, but they seem to be doing really well. Anything with gnomes on it seems to be going out pretty quickly.
He doesn't seem like a normal gnome, though. When I think of a gnome, I think of like a pointy hat gnome.
Yeah, he's a little bit more country. He's a country gnome.
Country, not rock and roll.
How much did country gnome go for?
$8.
$8. So not a lot, but keep an eye out for gnome stuff. I don't know why, but it seems to be selling well right now.
The next thing we sold, I was leery on when Pops picked it up, but he picked it up anyway. We sold a Star Trek Trivial Pursuit 50th Anniversary Edition Galileo. I don't know how to say that shuttle, and it's new.
Okay. New and sealed, never open. It is a Trivial Pursuit card game, and it's never been played or opened, like I said. So this one, when I saw it, I know we didn't pay much for it. I think it gave maybe $10.
I think it was 15 or 20.
I don't think we paid that much. I know we had to bargain a little bit to get it, but it wasn't very much. So at the most 15, but I think I got them at 10. And that one sold for how much finally?
$72.
10 into 72? Why not?
And I honestly believe, we've talked about it in a previous video, that when you touch stuff, that it sells. Because I have touched some stuff.
Oh, yes, she has.
But miraculously, over the weekend, it sold. It's so bizarre. I'm sorry, it's bizarre.
Yeah, that for whatever reason, that magic dust works. When you touch things or see things or move them around in the shop, they do tend to sell.
I guess maybe I need to go touch all of our inventory and see if it sells. So that'll solve our problem.
That might be a solution. I don't know
Okay.
if that's a feasible solution.
So the problem we have is we have right under, I think, 3,300 items right now. We have a fairly decent sell-through rate on most of it. Some of it just kind of lags around. You know, we listed it because we had it, which might have been a mistake, and we listed it individually when maybe we should have bundled them up.
I think, one, we're learning. We're still only...
Almost a year and a half.
Yep, right about a year and a half into this. We had a lot of bad buys, not great buys. We had a lot of things that we listed incorrectly. Listed for too high, or didn't bundle them when we should have, or vice versa. And that means we have a lot of items that just are not moving.
Correct.
And sit around for quite a while.
Yep. Those we call long tail, which I did not know until I started selling on eBay.
We also do this full time. Like this is what we do for a living. So we have the disadvantage of when we have the ability to source, we have to source. Like we have to get inventory in here and we have to be moving stuff because this isn't a side gig for us. This pays the grocery bill. So we need the inventory, and that means we grow when we can.
Yep, we do. So do we want to show them our current inventory system?
Let's go take a look at what we got.
In amongst our death pile we have not touched yet.
So we have shelves here.
We do. We also have, rather than trying to stick jewelry into like bins and stuff like that, we found these really cool things. We have them numbered so that you can figure out which one's which. And our belt buckles we did not do that with, just because they're...
Where did we see that first? We saw that on Lonnie and Candace's channel, Shed Flips,
Maybe.
didn't we?
Maybe.
Because they used to store some stuff in those like
They're
that.
pins, I think they sold for a while.
A lot of small stuff
but
they did.
it makes it easy just so that it can hang anywhere. You can hang it on the wall and it doesn't take up space.
Oh,
so
do you want to show them the smallest thing over here? Can we get to it?
my latest inventory organization is this fancy little thing that we paid, what, 20 bucks for? 10 bucks for?
I think it was 15 at the Encore store here in town.
Yep. So I used to have my silverware in a big container on the top shelf. It was really heavy. So now we have changed it. So I just have them labeled with G. This is my G shelf. We just put silverware in here. And each drawer is a different silverware. The other thing I have added, if I can find it.
So the organization does not work.
No, it does. If I looked it up, it does. I just don't remember where I put them. Somewhere in here.
So if you ever had a chance to get a thing full of drawers, don't, I guess.
I'm trying to remember where I stuck them.
She's still
Oh, right
looking.
here, right here. This is my tie bin. So rather than putting them in, a big tote, whatever, I stuck them in here.
Okay, look. So, yeah.
It does work when it's on the SKU system. You know where it's at. But just digging through, I didn't remember what drawer I stuck it in.
Okay, let's look at some more. We have this big table in here that's supposed to be our cleaning table, which obviously does not get used for that. And we have case upon case upon case of football cards underneath of it on that side. And on this side. And those are all listed, but they're just stored on there because there's really nowhere else to put those.
Ooh, I need to check those inventories to make sure we didn't run out of cards too.
Yeah, we probably should. Because we only list about 10 of those at a time.
Yep. So then, like on this shelf, we kind of had all these big boxes of inflatables and stuff like that, and some of the bigger items. We just started sticking them on a shelf. So we have I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shelves that are just that type of stuff. We do have some smalls totes. So these are like my littlest pet shop.
We have a few of those rolling drawers and things like that we put smalls in.
Yep.
And they're all labeled.
Yep, they all have a labeling system. More boxes. These are primarily Christmas stuff. Department 56, the Max, we put those on shelves. Our cups, glasses, that stuff you can't really put in a box or it'll get damaged. So we do have shelves that hold all of our cups.
Yeah, and those go...
And canisters.
That's our whole back shelves is basically glass, mostly glass. Mm-hmm. We do have some stuff that doesn't belong there just because they had nowhere else to put it. But this whole back wall is shelving, and that's what that's for, is glass. Stuff that shouldn't go in boxes.
My latest one is my suit jackets that we got out of our storage unit. I don't know where to hang them, so I hung them there.
And then we have our normal inventory here.
Yep.
Which is...
little totes that are for littler stuff, bigger totes that we, jam pack with stuff, but some of them are starting to get empty. So we will have to figure out that. This one too, they're starting to get empty.
And we have them all the way down. We got 1, 2, 3 shelves of the big totes, and then in the top is the shorter totes to make them easier to get down.
Yep. And we do have some, like here we had more littler stuff. Rather than packing them all in one big tote, we just divided them into little totes, but we still get 2 totes per shelf. So
those work pretty good for the dolls and Barbies because you don't want too many in a big tote.
Nope.
And you can see we have multiple rows like this of totes that way. And we got Bugs here who I think will never sell, but we'll see.
Then we have our DVD shelf. So it's got DVDs, video games, VHS on it. And then down below that, we kind of store our bigger, taller items that are like the blow molds and stuff like that.
Frosty used to be in there before he sold that we couldn't ship.
If I put my boxes away and found a new spot for my boxes, up there probably, then I
we
could
do
put
have
Frosty back there.
some storage up on the little balcony part, and then we have boxes here and a few drawers.
And we stocked up on priority boxes right before they decided to go ground advantage, so we don't need those anymore. Don't know what we're going to do with them.
Now this area back here actually used to be
our chicken hatchery.
Yep, that's an incubator back there. It's where we used to hatch chickens, and we don't use it anymore, so we may convert that space.
So now you see our problem.
All right, so we'll talk about what we plan to do and how we plan to solve this issue, but let's go ahead and jump in and talk about a few more items that sold this weekend so we can get them out of here.
Slowly, but I can't say slowly but surely, because I'm pretty sure it's only been 2 weeks since I listed all of them. We sold another all-clad copper core pan. We sold it does say chef's pan with domed lid, right? 12 inch.
It does. So it's this huge pan here. It looks like it's curved like a wok.
It does remind me of a wok.
So that's the pan, and I'm gonna put it down because it's a big old pan.
Yep.
But that sold for how much?
It sold for $179.99, which was full asking price. I have 2 pans left. One is a skillet or frying pan that is a copper core, and then I have a Teflon lined frying pan. Otherwise, those are it, and those were awesome. If I could ever get my hands on those again, I know Pops don't want to package them to ship them, but I would so get them for a decent price and sell those all day long.
They do suck to ship because you got to build a box for every one of them. Mm-hmm. But they paid for that entire storage unit twice over already.
They have.
So can't really complain too loudly about them.
Way in the profit on that storage unit already.
Yeah, and that building is packed. We haven't even started selling the big stuff yet.
Nope. Next, we sold a Bakugan. We sold a Battle Brawler Cyborg Gray Pyrus Maxis Helios version.
That's a lot of fancy words for a little gray ball. So it's a little gray ball that opens up with a magnet and turns into some creepy little robot thing.
Him.
I don't even know how to. I couldn't.
You can't open him without a magnet, and then he pops open.
Tell me not the opening for then.
Because I didn't know if you'd try and pick at him.
Okay, so that's the little gray ball. How much did he sell for?
$18.99.
Seriously?
Yep.
Wow.
We've sold one of those for $30 before.
Yeah, we've sold some decent ones of these. It just always surprises me when something like that sells for that. Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay, another lot. Do you call it a lot?
Well,
I know we got a lot of them.
We bought a lot of them, a whole car full.
A lot of Stampin' Up! That we bought. We're way in the profit on that as well because we only paid $135 for it, and I still have a whole shelf of them. Yeah. But we sold the Stampin' Up! Wetlands rubber stamp set. These are what they call cling stamps, but yes, we sold those ones.
So there it is. Just looks like a CD case.
They're duckies.
Yeah. Well, one's a goose, but the rest are not.
Oh, is it a goose?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's the stamps. What'd that sell for?
$29.99 free shipping.
Why do I put my hand behind it like that?
You always do that with everything.
Habit.
So we have to come up with solutions for our inventory issues.
Probably the solution most people jump to first, and probably the one we will address, is just getting a little bit creative about storage solutions. We need to organize it better.
Yep, we do. And so like some of the stuff that's on shelves that maybe doesn't need to be on shelves, that could be in a tote, we can put in totes.
We have that whole back room that we can clean out and put bookshelves back there so we could store stuff in. We have that whole top part, but we do have boxes up there. Yep,
that is our box storage. I just need to get rid of the rest of the Christmas stuff and put it either in the other shop or in our basement in our basement storage room that we store a lot of our Christmas.
That's a lot of our personal Christmas decorations for our house. So, but yeah, we will probably just organize better. I think is probably the first solution, is just clean up and organize and use the space we have a little better than we are. The next thing, and probably one we're sorely overdue on, is we need to inventory
all of our stuff.
Everything. Last time we only did like a shelf full of inventory, and I think we found several items that had been delisted. And that's something we need to do, is inventory. And as we're inventorying, as we are doing the inventory, we need to be combining those totes.
Yep, because we have some totes, like I showed you in the video we did when we walked through, that they're partially full.
Yep, quite a few actually.
Yes, that we just need to combine the stuff and then we'd have empty totes, which is kind of what we did with our silverware. We opened up an entire tote just by taking our silverware out and sticking them in the drawers.
Yep. I would say the lion's share of our inventory back over here is those big 2 foot long by 2 foot tall or whatever totes, and most of them could be combined.
Yep.
And just make more room, empty the totes and fill them up and use them fully.
Or we did with our storage unit that we just got, we did get a fancy thing that hangs over the door.
Yep.
That can hold shoes, so I might be able to empty out 2 totes just by
might
putting
have
that
to.
on the door and putting all those shoes and boots in there instead of in a tote.
So that's kind of what we plan to do to start addressing the space. I think we can add more space by cleaning up and organizing, and I think we can reclaim space by combining totes and doing the inventory and get them put into make 3 totes into 2, and we're going to gain space on every shelf.
We are. We just have to be conscious about when we stick stuff in there that it's not just jam-packed full, that we have to take everything out when we go to look for one item.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things you don't want to put 5,000 Littlest Pet Shop in a big tote. Like, we got to organize the totes in a way that makes it easy enough to find them. So that's all part of doing the inventory and combining totes, and I think that's part of the process.
Yep, been there, done that. That's why we have the little
smalls.
drawer shelves, the smalls drawers that are smaller so that you can only fit so many things in there without having to dig through a crap ton.
Yep. So, all right, so let's look at what sold next.
We sold Scar. He is a Marvel Universe Series 16 3.75-inch action figure.
Yep. That big green guy there. He does have his sword and stuff with him. And I don't even know what else to say about him. He just looks like the Hulk. I thought he was the Hulk, just like in World of Warcraft gear or something.
So, listing these before we talk about what he sold for. Actually, I'll just tell you what he sold for, then I'll tell you about it. He sold for $17.99 free shipping.
There you go.
But he'll drop in a 8x6x4 box and he'll be fine. But while I was listing out the rest of those Marvel and DC characters, I learned that there's so many more that I've never even heard of. Like, where did they come from? Where did he come from? I don't know.
I don't know that there's movies about most of them. I think a lot of them are in comic books and stuff like that. And
Must be, and I don't read comic books.
yeah. So if you're not a Marvel fan and you're not in the comic books and stuff, you probably don't hear about a lot of them, which is why we find so many that we've never heard of, because we know the ones that are in the movies, but that's about it. Like, who the hell's Scar?
And I know who Loki is, so.
Well, yeah, they have a whole series
And
on
the
him,
Green
plus
Lantern and, Hulk,
that's what I
Captain
said.
America. Those ones I know.
That's what I just said.
I know, I'm just saying. Those are the ones I know. Superman.
Those are the ones that were in the movies.
Yeah, well, I can tell you I don't know some of them. I had to.
I don't know them.
I had to Google image a lot.
Yep. So, glad to see him go.
Okay, the next thing we've kind of held on for a little while. I think we got these at the Goodwill. We sold a set of 2 Pittsburgh Steeler plastic beer glass cups. Not glasses, they're cups.
Yeah, we did get those at a Goodwill, and they were sitting up at the top shelf, and I figured if we could put them together, we could probably sell them off as a lot.
The one still has the fancy sticker
Yeah,
on
they
it.
have the official.
Only the one.
The other one somebody peeled off, but they had the barcodes on. They were real easy to look up and find comps for them, and we just put them in a lot together, and that sold for how much?
$17.99.
Yep, for a couple of plastic cups. We figured, why not? I think we picked them both up for like $1 total.
The next thing we sold, remember that Littlest Pet Shop we talked about in the last video? We sold its sister, or brother, or whatever they are. We sold the Littlest Pet Shop Pet Pair Short Hair Cat number 467.
So we get second little gray cat here. The other one sold in the video from a few days ago.
Yep.
And that's the matching one. Well, they're not matching. They're close. They're a pair. They usually are bought together. So that one sold for how much?
That one sold for $14.99, and it has felt or velvet around. All its spots are felt or velvet.
Flocked. They call it flocked.
Velvety.
There you go.
Did I say how much? Yeah, I did. $14.99. That was a good one. Okay, what problems are we going to run into by fixing our inventory system? Because we have a problem with inventory, and we always have a solution, but then we always have a problem for the solution and the problem. Did you catch that?
No, that's the problem. Okay. By doing our inventory, I think what she's trying to say is we are actually going to solve a problem, but we're going to create a few in the process. Or we're going to discover a few problems in the process. One of them we know we're going to run into because we've run into it before, and that is items that are supposed to be in a tote when you do the inventory or supposed to be on a shelf according to our eBay SKUs that is not there. We're going to find items that are just missing.
And we're going to just have to keep a list
And we're going to have to,
until we get through more totes.
yep. As we find them, we're going to have to put them where they go. If we don't find them, we need to get them off the store. And
Just
we're going to have to
temporary
address
delist
them.
them and then
Now, thankfully, I don't think we've ever sold an item we had to cancel because we couldn't find it.
yes, we did
Did we?
once.
But we found it later,
We
right?
found it later.
Yeah.
And then they had already bought one, so they didn't want mine no more.
Yeah. So we've never actually had an item 100% just go ghost on us that we couldn't find. We had the one we found later, but we did find it. So I think it'll be a small problem.
The other problem is going to be items that are in our totes that somehow magically disappeared from eBay.
Yeah, that is a much bigger problem. We did one shelf previously when we were doing inventory and found several items that eBay just delisted.
And the reason I knew they were delisted was because we keep a spreadsheet of all the items we enter into eBay, and it was on that spreadsheet, but it was not in eBay.
Yep. So that tends to be the much bigger problem we run into when we start doing inventory is items that eBay has just decided to remove.
Yep.
And they didn't remove them because there was anything wrong with them. I think at a certain point, eBay just sometimes drops a few items. I don't know why. But you wonder why something doesn't sell, even when it's a good item. Might be worth checking to see if it's even still on the store, because we do run into that, and we'll have to address those as we're going. I mean, what's the best? When we find it, we relist it right then and there and take pictures.
I think we have to, and stick it back in the tote that it was supposed to be in.
Yeah, I think the idea is just not let it find its way back to the death pile.
Correct.
Just get it relisted, take the pictures, take a second, do it, and just get it done with.
Yep. And the other item that with our inventory, part of the problem is maybe that we have stuff that we probably shouldn't have bought,
Maybe.
stuff that Pops shouldn't have bought, but he bought anyway.
Yeah, no maybe. There's no maybe in that.
So we do have some long tail items. Like when we first started, we went to a sale that was right outside of town here, and they were doing a $10 a box thing, and you fill up a box for $10 of all this glass stuff that was in there. So we looked through a bunch of it, stuck it in the box, and we've listed it. Some of it, I mean, we sold some.
We made money. I mean,
Yes.
we definitely made money, but we bought a lot of stuff we should have never bought.
Yeah, like what's that wheel?
I don't know.
That Wagner, is it Wagner? That porcelain wheel.
No idea what you're saying.
Remember the wishing well? The brown
The
wishing well?
McCoy?
Yeah, that. We have a McCoy wheel over there too.
We do?
Yep.
Long story short, there's a lot of items that just don't sell.
Yep.
And we need to come up with a plan on when do we expire items on our own? When do we delist them? Do we let it go for, like, I know a lot of people say list it and forget it and never think about it again.
Yeah,
but I
that's
think when
taking
you're
up inventory in your store online, and if you only have, I mean, we have a store, so it's not a huge deal.
Well, it doesn't take it up online so much as it takes it up in here. I mean, physically it takes up space. And if you're doing this full time as a real business for your income, that space has a monetary value to it.
Correct.
And if you have something filling it up that isn't selling, you're taking food off the table. And we like food.
And that's not good for Pops. You
No.
can't take food off the table.
We like food. So we need to figure out when we're going to delist items.
And I have been going out and ending listings and selling similar and modifying the listing somehow. And some I've come in and actually taken new pictures of, because when we first started taking pictures, we were horrible at it.
I think that's part of it. When we're doing the inventory, I think we need to look at the items on eBay too and see, well, we have to look at them because we have to match them up with what's on eBay, and see if the listing looks like it's a decent listing. If it needs better pictures, take them. If it's been here for a year and it's seasonal, I say maybe give it another year. But if it's not a seasonal item,
No.
maybe if we think we could fix it and sell it, we do. But if we can't, I think we have to put a time limit on it. At some point, we have to remove it.
I don't want to sit on stuff for 3 years.
No. And if we remove it, we have the same problem we had in the last video. What do we do with it when we remove it?
Yep. So we will, again, our 3 options. Facebook Marketplace, even $5.
anything, $1, it doesn't matter.
Facebook Marketplace, donate it.
Or throw it away if it's actual garbage.
Or throw it away. If it's something that,
Chances are if it's listed, it probably wasn't actual garbage or we wouldn't have listed it. So it probably has at least value to someone to use. So maybe we whittle those down to donate or...
I know where we can donate our glass stuff to.
Where? Smash Room?
Yeah. They would take it.
The Smash Rooms are always looking for glass items they can bust up. So I think that's our solution. If you guys have things we're not thinking about or a better solution to the problem of just plain old running out of space, we have to list because we're still trying to grow. We don't have our business where we want it yet. So we're still actively trying to grow it, and to grow it takes space.
And we have been modifying our inventory system some. Like if there's a lot of stuff in totes that are smaller items, I do go through and I bag them. So I should just invest in Ziploc. And
better items take up space for shorter amount of time. We get all that. Buy better items, buy small items that ship fast. We get all of that. We get the buy items worth more than X amount of dollars. But in our area in South Dakota, we buy what sells, period. Like we can't afford to be picky or we won't have inventory. Which is a funny thing to say when we're facing an inventory problem. But that is the truth in South Dakota. You kind of sell what you find. So we're not too picky about saying we're not going to sell anything under $10. That would be really foolish of us to do here.
If I did that, some of my bread and butter stuff wouldn't sell. My Littlest Pet Shop, I did sell one that's $9.99, one that's $14.99, but I do sell a lot of them that are $5.99, and I'm picking them up for 10 to 15 cents a piece. So I'm making money off of them.
Realistically, we couldn't find enough items to list and stay in business through the winter time that are over $25 items. Like you wouldn't. We would go out for entire weeks and not find enough items to sell through that week, let alone through the winter. So we do tend to sell what we find, and a lot of that is lower dollar items, but they add up because we sell a lot of volume. Today alone, we're looking at 48 items that are shipping out or something. It's 50 items. So we do quite a bit in volume, and that kind of makes up for it. You gotta have to source based on your area.
What you have access to and what seems to sell good for you.
So that's where we're at now. We'd love to hear your guys' input on these, especially people that have been doing this longer. We are absolutely newbies. We just know enough to know that we actually don't know what we're talking about. So we'll take advice when we can get it, and we're anxious to see what some of you guys that have been doing it for a while say. So let us know in the comments. But until then, we have a few more items that do need to be packed up today. And what's the first one you got?
We sold another Lamax. We sold the Lamax Vale Village Sugar Pine Ski School with the box and the light.
All right, so that's that guy right there.
Look how good shape that box is in.
It is. It looks brand new. It looks like it got put on somebody's basement shelf and never used. But that's that guy, and he sold for how much?
$44.99.
It sounds like it's packed in there pretty good, so it should be able to just drop it in the box with some bubble and send her out.
Okay, the last thing we sold, I had to giggle because we got a message from a guy asking if I would sell him a specific amount that he needs. So what we sold were some Da Vinci poker chips out of a set. They're clay composite poker chips, and we sold 25 of each, red, green, white, and black.
Here's these. We got the big poker sets out of a storage unit. We've got a couple of them now. And rather than just toss them because they don't sell super well, we bundled them up in chip piles of 25 chips per color, and we listed them that way, and they move very slow. We've only sold a couple of these.
The only thing we've sold out of that are the
dealer chips.
The dealer, the big blind, and the little blind.
So he wanted to just buy enough chips to complete his set, and we said we're not splitting them up, so he bought one of each, like one stack of each color, and we threw in a deck of cards that was in there. But those are pretty heavy chips, and
we had a debate on it.
They do weigh
under 3 pounds.
2 pounds, 13 ounces, 14 ounces without the box. So it's a good pile of chips, and that pile of chips that could have been garbage because we actually considered throwing them away, sold for how much?
$23.80.
It was worth the space that we had on the storage shelf. They paid for themselves since we had nothing in them.
We will be refunding some shipping on that one just because
I think he paid $30
He
in
paid
shipping.
$33 in shipping, so we will definitely be refunding, you know,
Yep, we'll
quite a bit of
combine
shipping. That's the last thing that I have on my list that we were going to talk about.
All right. Well, we've got our work cut out for us, so we're not going to dally around too much today. We're going to get out of here. And yeah. All right. So we're going to get out of here, and we will talk to you guys next time.
Hasta la vista, baby.